Attention, stations on the network. Our broadcast will begin in 10 minutes from my mark. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. That was your 10-minute time check, stations. Attention, stations on the network. Our broadcast will begin in 5 minutes from my mark. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. That was your 5-minute time check, stations. Attention, stations on the network. Our broadcast will begin in 2 minutes from my mark. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. That was your 2-minute time check, stations. Attention, stations on the network. Our broadcast will begin in 1 minute from my mark. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. That was your 1-minute time check, stations.
Hawkeyes Sports Network from Learfield, live from View Rooftop at the Hilton Garden Inn in downtown Iowa City. This is Hawk Talk, brought to you by Iowa Corn. You might think Iowa just grows corn, but the truth is corn grows Iowa. Brought to you by Iowa's corn farmers of the Iowa Corn Growers Association and the Iowa Corn Promotion Board. Mid-American Energy. Look up, look out for overhead power lines. Visit midamericanenergy.com for electrical safety tips. By your local Ford dealers. Also brought to you by U.S. Cellular, the official wireless partner of the Iowa Hawkeyes. U.S. Cellular, built for us. And by University of Iowa Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Here is your host, the voice of the Hawkeyes, Gary Dolphin.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome into View Rooftop. It's our regular Wednesday night Hawkeye picnic with the head football coach of the Hawks, Kirk Ferentz. He'll be joining us here half an hour, 35 minutes from right now. We've got a special guest joining us here in about 5 or 10 minutes. But on the drive down today, I thought, man, oh man, the calendar's about to change. The November winds are about to blow. That good dirt, black Iowa soil will begin to freeze over. And the stretch drive is on for Big Ten football. 4 games remaining for the Hawkeyes. A big victory on Saturday over at Kinnick Stadium. Back-to-back home games as the Wisconsin Badgers come for a visit in prime time, battling for the Heartland Trophy on Saturday night. Game time is 6:30. Our pregame coverage begins at 4:30 here on the Hawkeye Radio Network, the Wiffles Hybrids Hawkeye Huddle. So if you're going to the game, might want to bring your rain slick or cut a hole in the garbage bag and throw that over your noggin. That always works. But it is, for the first time this year, some type of threatening weather. Nothing severe at this point. But by, I think, the last extended forecast I looked at was for about 8 o'clock Saturday night, drizzle, showers, light rain would start to fall. And perhaps get a little heavier between 8 and 10 o'clock. It was a nice blast of water today around eastern Iowa. A well-deserved drink of water for the state, actually, from western border to eastern border. It moved through in a hurry and could return tonight, and that's the theme on and off for the next few days. So be aware. I mean, nobody's more prepared for weather in late October, early November than Hawkeye fans. And normally it's not biting cold, but usually that thermometer is down there hovering around freezing overnight, and 50, 55 degrees, 45, 55 degrees during the day, which is normal temperatures. Man, what was it, 80, 83 yesterday, and got into the mid to high 70s today. Call it summer's last gasp, perhaps. But it is Big Ten weather coming, so be aware. And what a game it should be. 2 teams that are built really the same way, and a lot of that has to do with the Hayden Fry coaching tree. Of course, Coach Fry, everything changed when he arrived in 1978-79. The rest is history if you're a black and gold fan. But from that tree, a number of Hall of Fame coaches, and one of them, Barry Alvarez, who left Iowa, went to Notre Dame, and then went a little further northwest to Madison and built a powerhouse at Wisconsin beginning in the early to mid 90s, the mid to late 90s. And multiple Rose Bowls later, he handed the baton to Brett Bielema, who is now at Illinois. And, of course, roots run deep when you talk about Iowa football and the coaching tree that Hayden Fry developed. Brett played for Hayden and then later coached for Hayden Fry and for Coach Ferentz. And so you can see where the blueprint, the footprint, the blueprint is pretty much the same. Run the football, play physical, stout defense, and both teams historically have done that, and both teams are doing that again this year. Both are 5-3. The Hawkeyes with that victory over the Wildcats on Saturday over at Kinnick Stadium. Northwestern improved to 3-2 in the Big Ten. Wisconsin dropped a hard-fought 28-13 decision to Penn State Saturday night up at Camp Randall Stadium. And for the second consecutive weekend, the Badgers are playing under the lights. Wisconsin had the lead at halftime, actually, And a pick six interception return for a touchdown gave Penn State the lead early in the second half that they would never relinquish, and they would win it 28-13 over Wisconsin. Luke Fickell, the head coach of the Wisconsin Badgers, tremendous player at Ohio State under Jim Tressel, played and coached under Tressel at Ohio State, built a national powerhouse at the University of Cincinnati before returning to the Big Ten as a head coach at Wisconsin. Luke Fickell grew up near Columbus, Ohio, and he was one of the great heavyweight wrestlers the state of Ohio has ever produced. 106-0. 106-0. That was his record in high school as a wrestler. He won 3 state championships. And a great article I read on Coach Fickell a year ago. His hero growing up was Dan Gable. And one of the thrills of his life was to get to Carver Hawkeye Arena and watch Iowa wrestle. And that he did back in his earlier in his youth. And so he was always an Iowa wrestling fan. And now he brings his Badgers to town on Saturday for round 2. Actually, the Hawks went into Madison and ambushed the Badgers last year, 24-10. Great effort by the Iowa defense, and hopefully they can forge another one on Saturday. It's another trophy game. The Heartland Trophy is at stake. That big old bull that Bob Bowlesby and the Wisconsin Athletic Administration got together and said, you know what, we've got Floyd of Rosedale. We got a pig. We play for it with Minnesota. Nebraska, of course, wasn't in the picture yet for the Heroes Trophy, but Bob thought it'd be nice if we would switch to beef cattle, since both states are known for their cattle. Wisconsin more dairy than beef, but the Hawkeye state, of course, not only for corn, but for cattle and hogs as well. So that Heartland Bull Trophy, which has resided in Iowa City the last 2 years, is on the line again this Saturday. It's been kind of like Michigan State a couple weeks ago, a series that is really close, really tight, hard fought down through the years. Michigan State and Iowa played for the 50th time in their history a couple weeks back. Wisconsin has won 49 times, Iowa 46, and there have been 2 ties in this long storied history of Iowa, of neighborly football between Iowa and Wisconsin. And we'll take a look further into the rosters. What are the keys for a Hawkeye victory on Saturday? Well, number one, hand the ball off to Caleb Johnson again. That's insightful, isn't it? But we saw a new quarterback emerge or enter, certainly a guy that has played before, primarily in the red zone when Iowa has the football, and that is the Irishman, the Northwestern transplant, Brendan Sullivan, who had a terrific day. Well over 100 yards of total offense, scored a touchdown right here on a 6-yard run with a great play fake and a sprint out to the right where he reached the pylon at the goal line and got the football to cross that imaginary plane, and that was a big score as the Hawkeyes put together a solid offensive performance after Cade McNamara was injured in the first half. Took a heck of a shot on a late hit that gave the Hawks 15 free yards. Later determined that Cade had a concussion. We'll get the update on Cade McNamara, some other injured players from Coach Ferentz when he arrives shortly. So that kind of sets the stage for what the conversation will be about tonight. Iowa, Wisconsin, back-to-back home games for the Hawks. Then they head back out on the road for a couple weeks to UCLA. A week from Friday night. We'll talk briefly about that later in the show. And then a bye week, Iowa's second bye week before they go to the other coast out on the eastern end of the United States and play at Maryland a couple weeks down the road, and then come home for the season finale in the Heroes Trophy with the Nebraska Cornhuskers. But that's then. This is now. Iowa, Wisconsin coming up Saturday at 6:30 Saturday evening. Pre-game coverage starts here on the Hawkeye Network at 4:30 with my favorite middle linebacker, Pat Anger, and all of you joining in on the Hawkeye Radio Network. As for tonight, there's a variety of avenues you can use to reach Coach Ferentz. Ask him a question, pay him a compliment, or you want to criticize or be critical. If you're unhappy with some part of the program, that's fine. Let us know what's on your mind on the Hawkeye Radio Network here. You can reach us on Twitter at Gary Dolphin for your question or comment. On Twitter at Gary Dolphin. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/Voice of the Hawks. We have a U.S. Cellular text line. Thanks to U.S. Cellular for providing a way to get to the coach here this evening, each and every week on Hawk Talk with Coach Ferentz. U.S. Cellular text line is area code 319-853-8344. 319-853-8344. And this year we've added an email address for you to reach out to Coach. HawkTalk@HawkeyeRadioNetwork.com. That's HawkTalk@HawkeyeRadioNetwork.com. It's veterans. Pay homage to our veterans. Once we turn the calendar on November, we're going to get an early start. John Deere has stepped up to the plate, and we have a very special veterans memorial feature that will run on Saturday during the game, as November 11th is not that far off. So there's plenty in our pregame, halftime, and postgame coverage where our veterans are concerned. Green State Credit Union is our game day sponsor coming up, thanks to Vic and the crew at Green State Credit Union. So plenty to talk about. When we return, though, after our first time out, Iowa rowing. We've been featuring one of the fall sports each and every week here on Hawk Talk with Coach Ferentz, and Jeff Garbutt, who is the head rowing coach, an Olympic sport that certainly had an Iowa flavor to it a couple months back in July. Jeff's going to join us here next on Hawk Talk with Coach Ferentz from Learfield.
When you live in the Midwest, you're accustomed to leading the nation in certain things, from corn and pork production to eggs and soybeans. And now we're adding another product to that list: clean, renewable wind energy. By investing in wind turbines and partnering with area farmers and landowners, Mid-American Energy is harvesting wind power that's homegrown right in our very own backyard, which not only provides customers with low, stable energy rates, but also the support to make our Midwest communities safer and stronger.
Hey Hawkeyes, this is Kirk Ferentz. Support Iowa's corn farmers by pumping up with Unleaded 88. Fuel your drive to the game with a clear choice at the pump. Unleaded 88 is cheaper, greener, and homegrown. You might think Iowa just grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. Let's go Hawks.
Hello, Iowa. Here's a promise. Wherever you are in this great state, University of Iowa Healthcare is here for you, even if you never walk through our doors. Educating, caring, leading research, sharing our expertise with all. Because we believe that UI Healthcare is here to make all of Iowa better. UI Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Visit uihealthcare.org.
At U.S. Cellular, we believe in having healthy relationships with our phones, so we can have better relationships with each other. Introducing Us Mode, a way to set your phone for less distraction and deeper connection. So dinner can sound less like this and more like this.
What'd you learn today? The sauropod was the tallest dinosaur ever.
Oh my goodness. Visit U.S. Cellular in-store or online, and we'll help set your phone to Us Mode, even if you're not a customer. U.S. Cellular, the 5G network built for us. See uscellular.com for details.
Join Michelle Altmeyer on the Hawkeye Tailgate Show at the official watch party headquarters of the Iowa Hawkeyes, Big Grove Brewery. For each away game, check out the Hawkeye Tailgate pregame show live at Big Grove in Iowa City. Big Grove is your official Hawkeye game watch destination with game day parties in Des Moines, Cedar Rapids, Solon, and Iowa City.
At U.S. Bank, when they say they're in it with you, they mean it. Not just for the good stuff, the grand openings and celebrations, although those are pretty great, but for all the hard work it took to get there, the fine-tuning of goals, the managing of cash and workflows, and decision-making. They're in to help you through all of it, because together they're proving day in and day out that there is nothing as powerful as the power of us. Visit usbank.com to get started today. Equal housing lender, member FDIC, copyright 2024 U.S. Bank.
Picture this. An engineer in Illinois designs a John Deere combine that a farmer in Kansas uses to harvest grain, that's transported on a stretch of interstate, that was built by a road crew with a John Deere motor grader, and that exact grain ends up in the muffin you eat for breakfast. Feeding the world takes a village, and we wouldn't have it any other way. John Deere, we run for all. Learn more at johndeere.com/werunforall.
Hawkeyes and Wisconsin, Saturday night at 6:30 over at a sold-out Kinnick Stadium. Weather doesn't bother the Hawkeyes, whether it's raining, whether it's cold. It's going to be November, and it's Iowa, Wisconsin, a pair of 5 and 3 teams squaring off in the annual blackout game. I neglected to mention that before I went to the break. It is blackout and military appreciation night inside Kinnick Stadium. We're honoring our vets, all branches of the military, men and women of the United States, Army, Navy, Marines, Air Force, Coast Guard. Happy to do it, and we love our men and women of the United States military. But it's also Blackout Saturday. Of course, it's always look a little more dark on Saturday night, a little more of a Halloween theme. Everybody shows up in your best black, as they say, and we're back in black, so that'll fit the theme when the huddle or when the swarm comes trotting out of the tunnel on Saturday prior to Iowa, Wisconsin. The Hawks have won back-to-back games against Wisconsin, 3 of the last 4 in Heartland Trophy matchups. Iowa won last year 24-10 up in Madison. It's always been a close series, and look for another close game on Saturday night. Right now, we want to talk Iowa rowing, and a good buddy of mine, Jeff Garbutt, has been kind enough to stop by. You were here at Iowa as an assistant, left, built a powerhouse of a program, and came back. Has it been 4 or 5 years?
This will be the start of my 4th year back.
Fourth year back. Yeah. What drew you back, Jeff? I know you and I have had this conversation, but there's something special about this university and the Iowa River.
Yeah, no, I think what drove me back is it's just Iowa. You know, I grew up at the Jersey Shore. You might be able to hear that in my voice and my accent a little bit, but never in a million years would I thought I'd left Atlantic City, New Jersey to come to the Midwest. But the 7 years that I had here were really special for me and my family. Great place to raise my son. And then when the opportunity arose, to come back as the head coach, it was a no-brainer. My wife and I said, yeah, let's do it, and here we are.
And here we are, and you built a tremendous program at Iowa. The first thing I noticed in the preseason notes was 33 walk-ons, and that's kind of how you live, isn't it? I mean, you need a tall roster, a deep roster of kids, and a lot of these are not only young women from Iowa, but they were superstars in other sports. Iowa high schools, rowing is far and few between.
Sure. Yeah, so it's kind of that's how rowing happens all around the world. It's a late entry sport where, you don't really see too many 5- and 6-year-olds that are able to carry a 12-foot oar and a 55-foot boat. But, we have a great group of young women this year, 33 freshmen that walked on. We have another 20 or so sophomores that make out our squad of 75 this year, and the walk-ons are what make it happen for us.
8 of the 75 are from Great Britain. So we've always known it's an international sport, and you had one young lady this year, Eve Stewart, who rowed was a participant with the Great Britain's rowing team, and very, very outstanding athlete in her own right, but Great Britain has one of the better teams.
Yeah, so Eve Stewart, we found her back, I guess it was 2015, 2016 when she was here. She's our first Olympian in the sport of rowing, and she happens to be our first medalist at the same time, getting a bronze medal. And, Great Britain, there's a lot of great rowing that goes on there. The first, collegiate athletic event happened between Oxford and Cambridge, and then Harvard and Yale. So our sport goes back a long way, and it all started in England.
At Iowa, Stewart has helped the Hawkeyes qualify for 3 straight NCAA championships. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so when Eve came in, she actually, believe it or not, she was only a rower for about 6 months prior to coming to Iowa. We found her. She used to be a track athlete. We found her over in the Netherlands, and she has dual citizenship. So at the time, she was living in Amsterdam, and I found her, through my connections with coaches, and we said, let's take a chance on her, and she became, obviously one of the best rowers we ever had. So
that's amazing, and not only Eve's exploits and headline making, Iowa's had 5 women invited to the U.S. rowing under 23 select team for the national championships. How'd that go, or is that coming up yet?
Yeah, so the under 23 championships, it's a world championship. It happens in the summer. So usually after the collegiate season, which is in the spring,
Gotcha.
They get an invite to go to a camp, and they try out and they have a selection. And We actually, another one of our Brits, who's one of our freshmen, Mia Lawrence, I want to give her a shout out. She's just here. She's only been on campus a few months, but she was a silver medalist this summer in the under-19 World Championships she actually missed the first week of class because she was over winning medals.
We'll allow that.
Absolutely.
We'll allow that.
Yeah.
That's the part of the NIL thing. That's no problem. Get those great headlines for the Hawkeye rowers. Now, winter is coming, but you never stop. You've got a southern trip or two planned. Tell us about your upcoming schedule and where does it dovetail into as far as the Big Tens are concerned?
Sure. So we have about 10 days left in our our 20-hour period before we go into our 8-hour period. So we finish off November 9th. Our fall competition against Ohio State, Michigan State, Wisconsin, and Indiana over in Columbus. And then after that, we'll start to pull back the reins a little bit with what we're able to do outside because obviously we know what's coming. But then in January, we take a week-long trip to DeLand, Florida, to Stetson University, where we'll take our Big Ten roster. We'll go down there and we'll train, twice a day and try to get some water time in to try to get everybody, all our walk-ons and everyone up to speed. And then February rolls around, we'll be back inside and we'll go down to UCF. We have a scrimmage with them in February. Spring break, we'll go down to Atlanta, Georgia, at the site of the 96 Olympics, and we'll train there for the week. And then we start our season off that weekend with Clemson in South Carolina. Then we go to Florida the following week, and we'll race another 17 teams there. It'll be a big weekend. Then we have our race with Kansas and Kansas State over in Lawrence, followed by the Big Ten Invite, which is going to be the premier rowing event outside of the NCAAs this year. There's going to be 22 teams there, 11 of the Big Ten teams, 11 invited teams who are all ranked in the top 20. So it's kind of like a showcase event and showing off that the Big Ten is the most powerful rowing conference in the country.
Where does that happen at?
That'll be in Sarasota, Florida, down in Nathan Benderson Park. And then from there we're going to go down to Oklahoma and take on the Sooners, and the USC Trojans will be in town, so we'll be down in Oklahoma, followed by the Big Ten Championships in Indianapolis, and hopefully a berth at the NCAAs again this year.
You're battling both coasts, schools from both coasts. Of course, that is the Big Ten now, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
That's amazing. Now, in the dead of winter, when it gets colder and the flurries are flying, if you have to go inside, and you're in there a lot, the Iowa Boathouse, the boathouse on the Iowa River is one of the finest facilities anywhere in the country.
It is. It's every year, we do have a lot of recruits that come in from all around the world, and they're always kind of blown away by our facility. Even Eve Stewart, who was just in here a couple of months ago, I guess now, it's an Olympic-style training center. We have an indoor rowing tank with moving water, so the girls can actually row. They're stationary, but the water's moving around them, so they simulate what's going on outside in the river.
Amazing.
So, yeah, really, really lucky to have the Beckwith Boathouse.
Well, Dr. Beckwith has been very generous to all women's sports at Iowa, but in particular rowing.
Yeah. No, I can't thank Sue enough for what she's done for our program, from the boathouse to this summer she traveled with us to England. So we were in England for 3 weeks where we raced the first week. The second week was training, and then the third week we raced again in the Henley Royal Regatta, which is the 185-year-old race. It's the Kentucky Derby of rowing. There's high school rowing, college rowing, and the Olympic rowing all at one event. And Sue, we invited her to come with us, and she came over and spent the week with us, and got to see all the bells and whistles and everything that come with the sport over there.
Well, Sue understands history and tradition, and what a thrill for the competitors, for your roster to be able to go to really where rowing was invented and compete.
Sure. No, it was a really unique and special. We only get to go once every 4 years on our international trip, but this one was pretty special for us because half the women were from Iowa and the other half of the women were actually from Great Britain. So it was great to see the women from England get to show off their hometown and their customs and traditions to the women of Iowa who have kind of taken them under their wings. And there's plenty of women on our team that come to mind. Emma Dabnett, who's from England, and rode for their national team, and she's now on our coaching staff. She's best friends with J.C. Hall from Ankeny, and there'd be Thanksgivings where she would go home with J.C. for the holiday, and she got to experience that. But then in the summer, J.C. gets to go and experience, Europe with her. So
Big Ben.
Yeah, Big Ben, Parliament.
Everything is London and England.
It was just an amazing experience all around.
Country.
Yeah.
And I noticed in counting up, I think I counted 15 to 20 young women from Iowa. Probably no rowing in any of their high schools growing up, but they're all star athletes in multiple sports at Iowa high schools, and that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, no, we actively go out and we contact all the athletic directors and guidance counselors, at the schools and tell them, what we're all about. And they now know the word is out, what we do. And then we find these great athletes that want to be Hawkeyes. That's kind of the special sauce for us, is that everybody wants to be a Hawkeye. So we're able to get these young women to wear the black and gold and be Hawkeyes and represent the state and the university. I mean, Molly Shannon is no stranger to you. You know Molly well.
Relative of mine, yeah.
Yeah, relative of yours. She was, the pride of Clinton, Iowa, playing basketball and different sports growing up. But she's now one of the best rowers on our team and captain of the team. And, she learned how to row freshman year and has just kind of really, she's kind of the epitome right now of what the rest of these walk-on women can do. They just roll their sleeves up and they get to work and they do great things.
They know how to work.
They do.
Well, we're glad you found your way from the Jersey Shore to the rolling hills and cornfields of Iowa, and it's so nice of you to stop by tonight. All the best with the schedule coming up this winter.
Thanks
Great to see you, Coach.
Me. Appreciate it.
Jeff Garbutt,
Go
ladies
Hawks.
and gentlemen, Iowa rowing coach, our guest here on Hawk Talk with Coach Ferentz. We're here at View Rooftop, where you can come out every Wednesday night for Hawk Talk and stop by on football Saturdays too. How about this Saturday? If you're not going to the game or don't have a ticket, View Rooftop has admission for an experience unique really to Iowa City, where you can immerse yourself in an invigorating environment with comfortable contemporary indoor and outdoor seating, high-definition televisions for watching the game, tailgate specials, and live music. Enjoy the Hawks and the Badgers. Enjoy the camaraderie and celebrate with a toast this weekend at View Rooftop at the Hilton Garden Inn, downtown Iowa City. If you'd like to call for reservations, it's 319-519-4650. 319-519-4650. We're back with more on Hawk Talk and Coach Ferentz from View Rooftop and Learfield right after this.
Hey there, sports fans. Hungry for a legendary experience? Look no further than Bump's Restaurants, proudly named after the legendary Bump Elliott. Nestled right at the Finkbine Golf Course on Melrose Avenue, Bump's is your go-to spot for mouth-watering meals. Present your ticket from today's game at Bump's and get a buy one appetizer, get the second appetizer free deal. Offer good through the next home game. See you soon off Melrose Avenue at the Finkbine Golf Course. Bump's Restaurant, a legendary place with legendary food.
Tournament Club of Iowa, designed by golf legend Arnold Palmer. TCI is his only signature course in the state. TCI is a public course offering a challenging yet enticing experience for golfers of all levels and is managed by Kaler Golf. Cap off your round with breathtaking views and a delicious meal at the TCI Bar and Grill. Looking for a unique setting for your wedding party or outing? Look no further than the newly renovated clubhouse at TCI. Visit tcofiowa.com to book your tee time today.
Hawk fans, be sure to visit and connect with these local business partners of the Iowa Hawkeyes, located in the Des Moines area. Carr Law, Community Choice Credit Union, and Royal Flooring. Facing a criminal charge or complicated family law situation, Carr Law Firm has the trial experts you need. As experienced trial attorneys, we understand how much is on the line. Go to carlawiowa.com for a free consultation. That's Carr with 2 R's, lawiowa.com.
Hey Hawkeye fans, Callie Levine with Iowa Women's Basketball here. Your support in the stands is critical to our success on game day, but now you have another way to make a real impact. Join the Swarm today and partner with my teammates and me to service charities throughout Iowa. Together, we're making our state stronger and helping Iowa athletics become the place where we experience the thrill of winning championships. Head to iowaswarm.com for more information. Let's make a difference, Hawkeye Nation.
In the heartland, where ambition thrives, there are those who are made and those who are made for more. Just like the Hawkeyes on game day, Kloss, a leading producer of ag equipment, unleashes the power of ambition in the field. Discover why our cutting-edge machinery and unwavering support aren't just a promise, they're a commitment to your success. Because at Kloss, we know you are made for more. Visit your Kloss dealer or CLAAS.com.
Cedar Ridge Distillery continues to be the home of Iowa's favorite bourbon with the original 86 bourbon whiskey. Not only is it always made with Iowa corn, but we let Iowa put its own stamp on the whiskey by aging it in non-climate controlled rickhouses. Make your next drink with Iowa's favorite, the original 86 bourbon by Cedar Ridge. Learn more at cedarridgedistillery.com. Cedar Ridge Distillery, Swisher, Iowa. Please drink responsibly.
All right, we're rocking and rolling, talking Iowa-Wisconsin football from here on out, right up until 8 o'clock on Hawk Talk with Iowa football coach Kirk Ferentz. Thanks again to University of Iowa head rowing coach Jeff Garbutt. His rowers are cranking up for a huge fall and winter session here locally on the Iowa River and then down south and into the Big Tens next spring. Always great visiting with Jeff Garbutt. We're at the top of the hour. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. We're here at View Rooftop in downtown Iowa City for Hawk Talk with Coach Ferentz. And back in 10 seconds after station identification, you're listening to Hawk Talk with the head coach of the Hawks, Kirk Ferentz. Your questions or comments for Coach Ferentz are welcome on Twitter at Gary Dolphin, on Facebook at facebook.com/voice of the Hawks. The U.S. Cellular text line is open, area code 319-853-8344, or you can email your question to us, hawktalk@HawkeyeRadioNetwork.com. Let's take a peek at the U.S. Bank scoreboard. U.S. Bank, proud supporter of Hawkeye football for many, many years. U.S. Bank brings you every Hawkeye scoreboard here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. The Yankees and the Dodgers are about to get going in Game 5 of the World Series at Yankee Stadium. First pitch scheduled for about 5-10 minutes away. The Dodgers with a commanding 3 victories to 1 lead. The Yankees won last night. The Hawkeye women basketball exhibition opener is tonight over at Carver Hawkeye Arena, and they're approaching halftime. About 5 minutes to play in the first half. It's Iowa 49, Missouri Western 17. Lucy Olson, the Villanova transplant, has 11 points to lead the Hawks. Youngster Tegan Maligny, just in her first year with the Hawks, has 9. Hannah Stolke has 7. So there you have the Hawkeyes in their exhibition opener. The Hawkeye men won big over Minnesota Duluth last Friday night, 102-81. And the women are rolling it up, looking good in the first half. Although I know Jan Jensen will have plenty to complain about on tape and film sessions tomorrow as the Hawks get ready to open for real here in a week. The Iowa men, by the way, open up their season on Monday night, this coming Monday night, against the University of Texas A&M Commerce at Carver Hawkeye Arena. We'll have the tip on that at 7 o'clock. Pregame coverage with Bobby Hansen and yours truly starts at 6 p.m. So I've given you the handles to reach Coach Ferentz tonight on Facebook, Twitter, U.S. Cellular text line, and email your question to HawkTalk at HawkeyeRadioNetwork.com. I want to thank KCRG 9.2. Which is gracious enough to televise our broadcast, our Hawk Talk with Coach Ferentz, each and every week here from View Rooftop in the Hilton Garden Inn. KCRG 9.2. Aaron, Deke, and Mike are here setting with the equipment all set up for another wonderful show here tonight. Also, we're on the official Iowa Hawkeyes YouTube page. So there's no excuse not to hear, watch, or participate in Hawk Talk with Coach Ferentz. As for the game, again, 6:30 Saturday night, Iowa-Wisconsin. How about quarterback Brendan Sullivan? He's feeling pretty confident after his performance against Northwestern last Saturday.
It goes both ways. You got to take the confidence and take the things that you did well from that game, but also you kind of got to forget about it and move on because this is a new team, new game, and being a starter is a little different than coming in halfway through. So take both from it.
Brendan is a bundle of energy. He runs fast. He talks fast. And he's always been that way.
Yeah, it's something how I was raised. How my dad taught me to play the game is with full effort. Give all your energy, all your effort, and control the controllables. And that's what I try to do out there. I feel like that does bring a little energy and makes it a lot of fun.
How about making the transition from Northwestern, who he beat Saturday, to Iowa?
Yeah, definitely. I think after the game, sat down with my family and had some food, and just reflected on my time at Northwestern and how much it meant to go out there and get the win against them after what happened, transfer portal and all that stuff. So, it was an amazing feeling. Definitely something that I'll carry with me for the rest of my life. But, excited to be on to this week and to be the starter this week for sure.
Brendan Sullivan inserted into the lineup in the second quarter about 5 minutes deep when Cade McNamara suffered a vicious tackle that drew a penalty flag, 15 yards for unnecessary roughness on the quarterback. We didn't know it at the time, but Cade suffered a concussion in that a body blow, and he will not play this weekend. The Hawks are awful thin at quarterback. We'll get that position update with Coach Ferentz when Kirk arrives. But Sullivan jumped in there and played admirably. Iowa scored 28 points in the third quarter alone. That's the most in a quarter since scoring 31 at Maryland back in 2021. And Sullivan ultimately engineered a 37-point game as the Hawkeyes rolled to a victory over the Wildcats 40-14. It was good to have Sebastian Castro back on the field. Man, did Iowa miss him the week previous with that injury up at Michigan State. And Castro, he fits well in that Iowa defense. He loves hard-hitting football.
I definitely want to impose my will against whoever I'm playing, and I hope they're doing the same. I hope they're giving me their best effort. It's been like that since I've been a kid, since like the Pee Wee leagues, Pop Warner leagues, and that's like as simple as football gets. Just mano a mano, a man against a man, and you can't ask for a better game. In a sense, I love this game in general, so I'm looking forward to it.
Spencer's going to be zeroing in on Wisconsin's outstanding running back Tawee Walker, who transferred in from Oklahoma in the offseason. Walker is rushing at a 5-yard average. He's got 10 touchdowns. He's run for 624 yards. He's also caught 8 passes, so he'll draw the attention of Castro coming up Saturday night. They also have a pair of quality receivers. They have more than 2, but Will Pauling has caught 38 passes, a 10-yard average for a couple touchdowns. The redshirt junior from Homewood Flossmoor in Chicago. Will Pauling is the best of the lot in their receivers. They've got others, Vinny Anthony. They always have good tight ends. Riley Nowakowski is their number 1 this year. We'll get more thoughts from Wisconsin's offense when Coach gets settled in. Sebastian Castro also reflected on his forced fumble a year ago on Wisconsin star tailback Braylon Allen.
To make a guy fumble, especially like on a 4th and 1 play like that, it's definitely like something you just want to impose your will as a defensive player. You always just want to hold your ground, stand your ground, make a statement, and it did feel good. I just like competing, to be honest. If I'm being really honest, I just like to compete. And, it was good. It was a good time, I remember.
Sebastian. Coach Ferentz is with us now to talk Iowa, Wisconsin from here on out up until 8 o'clock. We only missed him for 1 game, but boy, did we miss him. It was great to have him back out there Saturday.
He's definitely a difference maker on our football team, not just the defense, and a real catalyst out there. And I think a really good story. Like so many of our guys, he always worked hard. He's always been a tough, aggressive guy. But it was somewhere during the latter part of the 22 season where all of a sudden things just started, clicking for him, and he was seeing things really clearly. And, when a player gets to that point, that's when they really start playing fast. And, that's the beauty of experience. So that to me is a turning point for him. He played unbelievably good football last year and is doing the same thing again now. And on top of that, being a veteran player, he's a really strong leader on our football team.
Oh, he sure is, and thankfully he came back to play this year. He's got 32 tackles, 1 for loss, 1 interception. He's just kind of a roamer out there. You've had some great ones play that position, Kirk, and he and Cohen Entringer both gone at the Michigan State game. Cohen got a pick before he was forced out with that dislocated finger. It's good to have those guys back in defense. Now you're hurting at the quarterback position. A little thin there.
Yeah, it's always interesting. I'll go back to the safety thing, too, about Sebastian. It's just such a simple comment. It sounds almost stupid, but, some guys just seem like they want to get to a ball more than others, and he's one of those guys, and usually a good defensive player. You're talking about Bob Sanders, and I'm not trying to compare the two, but Bob Sanders, Jack Campbell, Jay Higgins, those guys not only play their position, but they want to make tackles, and that's a big part of why they stand out. Shifting over the quarterback position, it's been interesting to say the least, and
so I've heard.
Yeah, but that's football, and next man in. So we'll just keep pushing forward.
So you have Brendan Sullivan. Who would be his backup then?
Well, we got Marco as a possibility,
Lainez.
and then Jackson Stratton. So we got three guys basically, and after that it's Spawn and Sane, and then pray for rain. Right? We're kind of running out of guys. Actually, James Reesar had moved to a receiver, and unfortunately he got injured about a week ago. So that's unfortunate, certainly, and so it's just few the proud, the free right now.
Spawn and Sane and pray for rain. Now,
you remember that?
Yeah, I
you're
do.
Old enough. Yeah,
I
you're
do.
Old enough.
Yeah, you're dating yourself.
Yeah,
for those that was Warren Spahn and Johnny Sane.
Yeah.
Two of the great hurlers in the history of Major League Baseball. It's appropriate with the World Series
absolutely
going on this week. Marco Lainez, we saw glimpses of Marco last year. Big kid, 230 pounds at 6'2". He can run a lot like Brendan Sullivan. Give us the update on his progress and how he's matured.
He's been doing a good job. The trick is, or the challenge is, with that position especially, it's hard to give the second guy reps. So that's where the push is on that whole deal. And some people may do it differently, but I've never been anywhere where that wasn't the case. The one guy gets the majority of the reps. The two guy will get, Tim does a good job, and we've done this too. We try to go 50-50 if we can. But if there's a question, the first guy's going to make sure, he'll finish out a set of plays or whatever. Mm-hmm. So it's really hard to push other guys forward in season. Now, spring ball, it's a whole different job, and during camp, and so it's the good news is they have a similar skill set, Brendan and Marco. So at least you have guys that can move a little bit.
Jackson Stratton, we really haven't had a chance to talk about him. He's a transfer from Colorado State, eligibility-wise. What is he, a junior? Sophomore? Sophomore. Yeah. He's a California kid, like Spencer Petras. What did you see in the recruiting process, his strengths? What do you like about Jackson?
He's a good thrower. He's the opposite of what I just talked about with Brandon and Marco. He's more of a thrower than a runner, and he throws it very, very well. I mean, he can let that ball whistle. So we're glad he's here. It's kind of a strange path how he got here, but I'm glad he's here, and he's a great young guy and doing a really nice job. He's been working against our defense on the scout team an awful lot. So, now we've got him over taking some snaps, and it's been interesting, to say the least.
I'm sure it has. Luke Lachey, he missed some snaps in that second half.
Yeah, he'll be touch and go. Otherwise, I think we're doing okay. But he's a guy that right now is touch and go. We'll get Brendan. Kyler Fisher's, he's fine, but he didn't have about 3-4 days that were not fun. Just really got hit hard and basically couldn't even come in the building. But he's doing really well, back on his feet, 100%. And Bo looks like he's good to go, Bo Stevens. So get him back in the fold. So, at some point we'll get Addison Ostranga back, hopefully after the bye week. And, we'll see what happens with Luke. But, you never know.
The stretch drive is here. The Hawkeyes in Wisconsin, Saturday night at 6:30. Let's at least talk about the Wisconsin offense, Coach. We'll take a break and then come back and talk defense. But the Badgers, I was mentioning before your arrival, once Barry Alvarez arrived in Madison, Iowa, Wisconsin kind of mirror each other, reflect each other. Another tidbit from the Hayden Fry coaching tree. Many programs around the country love to have that great running back, historically, big offensive lines, physical defense. And down through at least the last 30 years, Iowa and Wisconsin have been a mirror image.
They really have. And, first of all, Barry, I just got done talking to the team about that in our meeting tonight, when he took it over, 1990, I guess it would have been, right? Same year I went to Maine, I believe.
Early to mid-90s, yeah.
I mean, they were in bad shape when he got there, with all due respect, but they were not good. I mean, they're the kind of team you'd love to play a doubleheader against, quite frankly, back in 89, 88, somewhere in there. And I'm not sure what happened or how it happened, but they had kind of fallen off.
Dave McClain died suddenly. I remember that. He was, I know, a couple times Big Ten Coach of the Year. And
excellent
he
coach.
He had it going pretty good.
They were, when I got here in 81, I remember that we played up there. They would have gone to the Rose Bowl had they beaten us. We knocked them out, and then the next week, I believe it was, when we played Michigan State. So, yeah, they were a really good program then, and then something in the mid-'80s, late 80s. Again, I don't know what happened, and I'm not an expert, but point is, Barry came in and did a really nice job, and I know he was really optimistic about going there and the potential, and sure enough, he was right about that. So in 99, if there's one good thing, we were up there to watch them clinch the bid to the Rose Bowl, the Big Ten championship, and Dane set the NCAA record.
They had a guy named Ron Dane carrying the ball.
Quite a festive day for them.
Not bad.
But it gave us a good exposure what it should look like.
Sure.
And, so we were certainly chasing them and finally caught them in 2002. And it's, to your point, it's been a good series back and forth. And you're exactly right. They've had several head coaches now, but they're big offensively, which kind of fits the geography. They've got a lot of guys in-state that fit that mold, and a lot of their good linemen over the years have been from in-state. Typically, they always have a really good running back, although first Rose Bowl, I think they were splitting duty with a couple guys that weren't top recruits necessarily, but certainly Ron Dane was, and they've always seemed to have a good receiver. And now, in the new transition the last 2 years, I think they've shifted a little bit offensively, probably a little stronger in the passing game they've been in the past. And the thing I think that's different this year than last year is they're running the ball more effectively, and so you've got to really play honest defensively because they've got good receivers, the quarterback does a good job, and Walker's a really good running back.
Walker transferred in from Oklahoma, 5'9", about 220 pounds. Usually Oklahoma doesn't miss on recruits. Talk about his strengths, Walker.
Yeah, I'm not sure why he left, but boy, he's a good player. Probably because they got other guys that are really good too. I don't know. Imagine that at Oklahoma, but so he's a really tough runner. He sees things well. He's very decisive, strong, and it just seems like every week we say the same thing. We're always playing a back who's pretty good, and Walker's been really productive for him.
Braden Locke. Now they've had some injuries at quarterback early in the season. Young man transferred in from Miami. He got hurt. He's out for the year. They go back to Braden Locke, who started games for him. A kid out of Texas. He's a redshirt sophomore, transferred in from Mississippi State in the past year, over a year ago. At least you've seen a lot of Braden Locke on tape.
We have, and he came in our game last year. I can't remember when exactly it was, but came in our ball game.
Second half when their starter got hurt.
So he's a good thrower, good player, and he's done a really nice job for him. And they got a good football team. They're 5-3 right now. Their three names came to schools that you'd all recognize the name, or you'd recognize every name of those guys. Those schools are all good football programs. All three of them, two of them top five ranked. And
Penn State last week they
played them really well.
Yeah, it was
up until the last 3 minutes. It was whatever 5-8 point game, something like that.
Pick six hurt them too, but Wisconsin had the lead at halftime.
Yeah, they're playing well. They're really playing well, and Penn State's got a really good football team.
They do. Coach, Wisconsin, not unlike other years, big, gigantic, fast-moving offensive line. Jack Nelson at left tackle has been a star for a couple years now, a homegrown Wisconsin boy.
Yep. Yeah, a couple of these guys we tried to recruit unsuccessfully, and Nelson, his little brother, is his backup, actually. Benchwell, I actually tried to recruit Scott Benchwell 40 years ago or 35 years ago unsuccessfully. He went up there and played there, and so it's I got to assume they're related, certainly.
Huber at right guard, he's a veteran.
Huber's a good player.
For a number of years.
Bruner we tried to recruit, and then Renfro, I believe, came with them from Cincinnati. So he knows the system, certainly. But it's a good group of guys, and they're really playing well right now with confidence.
Will Pauling has caught nearly 40 passes. He had a big game last week against Penn State. Junior from Chicago. Will Pauling, you've watched him grow and mature up there over the last couple of years.
Yeah, both he and Anthony are good players. I think Pauling seems to be the favorite receiver, and just does a really good job in all regards. And both those guys can run.
All right, Coach, we'll step out, take a break. We're at View Rooftop. You're invited to join us. Thanks for listening in on the Hawkeye Radio Network. Saturday night, it's blackout night and a salute to the military. John Deere's commitment to the military dates all the way back to World War I. and continues that legacy by supporting active duty service members, veterans, and their families. It's also why the manufacturing leader proudly supports today's Iowa Hawkeyes Salute to Service game coming up Saturday over at Kinnick Stadium. And Iowa Corn, throughout the Iowa Corn Cy-Hawk Series, Iowa Corn promotes honest, hard-working values that are uniquely Iowan. On behalf of Iowa's corn farmers, we salute all athletes for their hard work and determination to be the best both on and off the field. Just like our top athletes, our state leads the nation in corn and ethanol production. Go to iowacorn.org, iowacorn.org, and learn how corn grows Iowa. The reading today where 98% of the corn crop is in the bin. It's been harvested, and the rain may hold up the farmers for a couple days, but it looks like another bin buster this year, thanks in large part to Iowa Corn. In the Iowa Corn Cy-Hawk Series, back with more from Coach Ferentz. We'll go to Twitter and Facebook and your text messages, as well as our Hawkeye email address. That is, in case you need to know, check in with us at Hawkeye or Hawk Talk at HawkeyeRadioNetwork.com. I promise I'll have all this memorized by the end of the year. This is Hawk Talk from View Rooftop with Coach Ferentz in Learfield.
How do you become America's best-selling brand? Let's break it down. Innovative tech means smarter and safer driving. Intelligent all-wheel drive will keep you ready for anything. And built Ford tough trucks will always get the job done. Plus, come into your local Ford store today and get super low APR financing, big cash back, and great lease offers on Ford's full line of cars, trucks, and SUVs. That's Ford, and that's how you become America's best-selling brand. Sales claim based on calendar year sales.
At MidAmerican Energy, our 1.6 million customers depend on our energy 24/7. That's why we work 24/7 to deliver the safe, reliable energy you need. To keep our 99.9% reliability record, we're enhancing our technology, improving resiliency, and investing in critical infrastructure. We're generating power from all available resources to cover any increases in demand. And we're innovating to ensure you always have the energy you need. MidAmerican Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
At U.S. Cellular, we believe in having healthy relationships with our phones so we can have better relationships with each other. Introducing Us Mode, a way to set your phone for less distraction and deeper connection. So dinner can sound less like this and more like this.
What'd you learn today? The sauropod was the tallest dinosaur ever.
Oh my goodness. Visit U.S. Cellular in-store or online and we'll help set your phone to Us Mode, even if you're not a customer. U.S. Cellular, the 5G network built for us. See uscellular.com for details.
Hi, I'm Gary Dolphin, and if you want your home to be exceptionally comfortable during these cold Iowa winters and hot, humid summers, you need to turn to Dave Lennox and your local Lennox home comfort specialist. Lennox has been serving Iowa consumers since 1895, when Dave Lennox built his first furnace in Marshalltown, and Lennox is still building its high-efficiency furnaces and air conditioners there today. For the best home comfort system you can buy, it's Lennox and your local Lennox dealer. Lennox and the Hawkeyes. Now there's a winning combination.
Hello, Iowa. Here's a promise. Wherever you are in this great state, University of Iowa Healthcare is here for you, even if you never walk through our doors. Educating, caring, leading research, sharing our expertise with all. Because we believe that UI Healthcare is here to make all of Iowa better. UI Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Visit uihealthcare.org.
At U.S. Bank, when they say they're in it with you, they mean it. Not just for the good stuff, the grand openings and celebrations, although those are pretty great, but for all the hard work it took to get there, the fine-tuning of goals, the managing of cash and workflows, and decision-making. They're in to help you through all of it, because together they're proving day in and day out that there is nothing as powerful as the power of us. Visit usbank.com to get started today. Equal housing lender, member FDIC, copyright 2024, U.S. Bank.
Something's got to give on Saturday night over at Kinnick Stadium. The Hawkeyes in a sold-out house on Military Appreciation Night and Blackout Saturday. So make sure you wear your best black rain slick or apparel coming up on Saturday night. Kickoff at 6:30. We'll be on there at 4:30 Saturday afternoon with our pregame coverage. Both teams 5-3, the Hawks and the Wisconsin Badgers. A win also will make Iowa bowl eligible for the 23rd time in the last 24 seasons under Coach Ferentz. And Iowa's next victory will be number 700 for the program in its history. There's only been 35 Division I schools win 700 games in their storied history. So Iowa football, rightly so, is in some rarefied air. Now, Coach Ferentz, do you know what school has the most wins in college football history? If you wanted to take a guess.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say Yale, but I'm wrong, I'm sure.
You're wrong.
Yeah.
But it's in the Big Ten.
Okay. Well, probably Michigan. So I don't even want to say that. But,
it is.
I'm sitting here thinking about the Jim Zabel line. Hell, it was only a couple bad decades. So
at Iowa.
Yes, I mean, 700 might be pretty good, actually.
700 is really good. I'd rather promote the positive. But, yeah, Michigan's the only school with over 1,000 victories.
Yeah, I really don't care. So
neither do I.
Yeah.
But it's Michigan, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Nebraska, the usual suspects. But I knew that would be a bit of history that you could care less about. But that said, good luck at sitting at 699. I know you're only worried about Saturday night. We've talked about the Wisconsin offense. They always have a physical defense, Kirk, as well. And this year is no exception, man. Their points per game is allowed is down there. And we start in the back end. It seems like every time we talk about an opponent this year, they have an outstanding secondary. And with Wisconsin, it starts and ends with Hunter Wohler. He's been roaming that safety position for a number of years.
He really has, and he's just a good football player, all-around football player. And they've had some issues fielding punts this year. It's interesting because the guys they have had doing it are good players, but they just have mature-handed. So they've actually moved Wohler back to do that as well. And I guess my point is, I think he probably, and I just read Coach Fickell's comments from his press conference Monday, I believe it was, and mentioned that he probably could jump in there and be quarterback if they got in a jam. And I'm thinking about Sam Laporta doing the same thing a couple of years ago for us.
Cooper DeJean, it sounds like a Cooper DeJean type player,
exactly.
Right?
So just he's I think a really good football player. I also think he's probably their leader. I don't know about the whole team, but certainly on defense, it seems like everything starts with him.
They always have outstanding linebackers, too, Coach. As you know, a number of them are playing in the NFL these days. One of them's been a multiple player of the year with the Pittsburgh Steelers, a last name that we know.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah, he's not bad. And he was a fullback. He was an H-back.
He's amazing, boy. I'll tell you what a football player that guy is.
He really is. Up front, they're always big and strong, and they've got some run pluggers. Now, we've seen a 3-4 out of Wisconsin for a number of years. Looks like they've switched that up under Coach Fickell.
I was going to say that's the biggest difference, I think. At one point when we got here 20-some years ago, they were a 4-3 team, different than us, but a 4-3 team. And then at some point, whenever it was like 11-12, they transitioned into a pure 34 team and then stayed in that mode up until Coach Fickell came. And last year did a little bit of each, but right now they're strictly a four-down line guy group. And that being said, their outside guys will play in the 2-point, but they're defensive ends, basically. And but body types are a little different than maybe what we've seen. And then behind them, those typically going to be two linebackers and a money nickel, whatever you want to call them, cash. I guess I don't know if that's their term, but it certainly would be ours. 9 and 12 are the two guys that do that. So it's a little bit of a transition, but nonetheless, I mean, the inside backers are the inside backers, and the outside guys an adjuster, and they're going to have four guys up front that are doing a lot of different things, and the two inside guys are big, hard to block guys, space eaters.
Historically, they've been really good on special teams. Could you make that claim this year again?
Same thing, yeah, same thing. The punter, I believe, is a sophomore. He's Australian also, and he was good last year, and he's doing even better this year. So good there. I think they've given up. Oh man, I think the average starting. Let me rephrase it. The average starting position for the opponent after a kickoff is on the 19. So if you try to run it back, typically you're going to start on the 19. So I'd say that's not a good move, but at the same time, I think we got a lot of pride in our unit. So we'll see. That'll be an interesting matchup. See who does what. But yeah, they're very, very good on special teams. A lot of guys that just play hard and get down there real fast, and have done a nice job.
How about the Big Ten Special Teams Player of the Week this week, Caden Weegan?
Isn't that great? Yeah, he just it's been fun to watch him improve. He's always been, high energy, and he's always been fast and always been aggressive, but he's really just kind of coming into his own right now, and he's confident, and the guys around him are confident, and that just those things, two things go hand in hand. It's more motivating to block for a guy who might take it to the house, and it was great to see Caden finally do that and get that opportunity, because that's not easy, and speaks to him a lot. He's just really done a nice job, and kick and punt, just really, really doing a good job for us.
You knew that that return for a touchdown was coming sooner than later, and he's been so close all year long, and terrific takeoff speed, and what lateral movement he has in the blink of an eye. That might be his strong suit.
He really does, and he sees things well. And just like I said, talking about Castro, like Castro tries to go tackle you, and this guy wants to go. He wants to go score every time he gets the ball. Caden just wants to make yards. And I think the biggest thing again is just his maturity. He's a little bit older now. His judgment's been really good, and that's. People I don't think realize that. Podolak could speak to this, but people don't realize how difficult being a punt returner is. There's a lot of variables involved, and I think it's one of the most underappreciated jobs on a team. And when you get a guy who can just field the ball, typically full disclosure, I'm happy if a guy can just field it and be reliable. And then if you get a return ability on top of it, whether it's Micah Hyde, Cooper last year, last couple of years, and now Caden, boy, it's a real bonus.
When Caden was first anointed, and rightly so, as the kick and punt returner, you told me you're a little nervous.
Because he's
a little fidgety.
I was a little nervous because he's not nervous, and that makes me nervous. Yeah, so that's kind of how that works.
He is fearless, I think, is the term you're looking for.
I'll say that now.
Yes, yeah.
Not then.
He's a more animated version of Cooper DeJean, I think, with the way he attacks opposing defenders, and he invites contact. He doesn't mind it a bit, does he?
It's just who he is and how he is, and it's a good thing. It's all good, but like I said, I'm not so sure. A couple of years ago, he really appreciated the gravity of his decision making. So. He's really done a nice job, and he's a heck of a football player. I'm glad he's on our team.
Yeah, nor did he appreciate
for a lot of reasons.
Your nervousness at the time. But that was a couple of years ago. He's gotten better, and his 85-yard punt return for his score early in the second half last week was the 7th longest in program history in the victory over Northwestern. That earned him, as much as anything, Big Ten Special Teams Player of the Week, but he was well over 150 yards in offense, both kick and punt returns.
Yeah, I think that gives you a chance, I would hope, to be the guy that at least, winner or co-winner.
At least you're a candidate.
Yeah, that's a really unbelievable, impressive day's work for a guy. So real credit to him and his teammates.
We'd be remiss, and he certainly mentioned it right away on our postgame interview with Pat Anger, the guys that not only in front of him immediately, but downfield blocking. That has been noticeable this year.
Yeah, the guys are really working hard, and again, it's incentive. And you got a returner like Caden, it's makes it easier to be motivated, and you want to do your job and go out there and finish plays and finish blocks. And those guys, I'll plug them on this one too. I think they've done a really good job of playing penalty free, and you see so many kick returns or punt returns where you get a holding penalty, and it just, those are momentum killers, and they really hurt you. But it's our guys have done a really good job of playing clean, and we need to continue doing that.
Coach, let's go to Twitter. On Twitter, we find Wilson. Coach, when do you decide to visit a recruit's home in this ever-changing world of NIL, transfer portal, etc.? And what do you try to communicate with them and their family in today's game?
Yeah, so here's good question, and here's where life has changed. One more reason why it's different. However many years ago, 5-8 years ago, whenever, there was a time when players actually committed after their senior year. They'd get recruited then, and so the home visit was really, really critical because you were, in the decision-making process. And now, use the term that I got scolded on once, Hayes in the barn. Pretty much, 85% of our recruiting is already done right now. So, and we can't legally go sit in a home until December. So there's a real contradiction there. And my point is the pace has really changed now. So it's rare you go into a prospect's house where he's still undecided. Usually it's just a victory lap and chance for everybody just to have a good evening and get to know each other a little bit better, which I really miss, quite frankly, the home visits, because we're not doing them the way we used to 10 years ago. It's always good to be in someone's home and just meet everybody and get to know about the family, all those kinds of things. But that now it's all what they bring to our facility. They have to come on campus unofficially, and then now we're allowed to bring them in officially in the spring too. So, but again, they can come here. We can't go there.
You had 40 to 45 recruits, many of them already committed at the game on Saturday. And if there's a selling point, it's a full house with our Hawkeye faithful, with the swarm trotting out to Back in Black and the Hawkeye fight song. And Saturday afternoon at Kinnick, that is as good as any home visit could ever be.
It really is, and it's we and that's again the advantage of recruiting in the Big Ten footprint. Let me rephrase that: the original Big Ten footprint. So anyway, when kids can get here and get in Kinnick, it's a plus for us, because it is a rare place. And I'm not just saying that. I mean, everybody says that comes here. They and these guys are traveling around seeing other venues too. So we always feel good if we can get a prospect into the stadium to be part of that and experience that a little bit. It's a good thing.
We'll be back with Coach Ferentz. We'll go back to Twitter and Facebook and our Hawkeye text line when we return. But first, let me tell you about some of our great sponsors like Hawkeyes. Do you have Hawkeyes Midwest in your farming game plan, Mr. Farmer? Hawkeyes Bio 800 Plus products are enriched with soil microbes to build soil health and increase your yield. Soil nourishing, root stimulating, that is Hawkeyes Midwest. Go to HawkeyesMidwest.com for more information. And be sure and entertain your clients or employees at a Hawkeye home football game in Hawkeye Village, presented by Navigate Wellbeing Solutions. Village packages include game tickets and catered food. Visit HawkeyeSports.com for more details. Navigate Wellbeing Solutions is a proud partner of Hawkeye football. Back to View Rooftop in downtown Iowa City in the Hilton Garden Inn right after this with Coach Ferentz in Learfield.
You might think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. Corn can even fuel your drive to watch the Hawkeyes play when you choose Unleaded 88. It's a fuel that's cheaper, cleaner, and greener. Plus, it's homegrown, making Unleaded 88 the clear choice at the pump and totally worth the hype. So as you head to cheer on the Hawkeyes this season, don't just fuel up. Pump it up with Unleaded 88. Find Unleaded 88 at a station near you. Go to iowacorn.org/88.
At U.S. Bank, when they say they're in it with you, they mean it. Not just for the good stuff, the grand openings and celebrations, although those are pretty great, but for all the hard work it took to get there, the fine-tuning of goals, the managing of cash and workflows, and decision-making. They're in to help you through all of it, because together they're proving day in and day out that there is nothing as powerful as the power of us. Visit usbank.com to get started today. Equal housing lender, member FDIC, copyright 2024, U.S. Bank.
At US Cellular, we believe in having healthy relationships with our phones, so we can have better relationships with each other. Introducing Us Mode, a way to set your phone for less distraction and deeper connection. So dinner can sound less like this and more like this.
What'd you learn today? The sauropod was the tallest dinosaur ever.
Oh my goodness. Visit US Cellular in-store or online, and we'll help set your phone to Us Mode, even if you're not a customer. US Cellular, the 5G network built for us. See uscellular.com for details.
When you live in the Midwest, you're accustomed to leading the nation in certain things, from corn and pork production to eggs and soybeans. And now we're adding another product to that list: clean, renewable wind energy. By investing in wind turbines and partnering with area farmers and landowners, Mid-American Energy is harvesting wind power that's homegrown right in our very own backyard, which not only provides customers with low, stable energy rates, but also the support to make our Midwest communities safer and stronger.
Hello, Iowa. Here's a promise. Wherever you are in this great state, University of Iowa Healthcare is here for you, even if you never walk through our doors. Educating, caring, leading research, sharing our expertise with all. Because we believe that UI Healthcare is here to make all of Iowa better. UI Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Visit uihealthcare.org.
Picture this. An engineer in Illinois designs a John Deere combine that a farmer in Kansas uses to harvest grain that's transported on a stretch of interstate that was built by a road crew with a John Deere motor grader. And that exact grain ends up in the muffin you eat for breakfast. Feeding the world takes a village, and we wouldn't have it any other way. John Deere, we run for all. Learn more at johndeere.com/we run for all.
We're back on Hawk Talk. Welcome in to View Rooftop, downtown Iowa City, in the beautiful Hilton Garden Inn. Gary Dolphin with the head football coach of the Hawkeyes. Score update from Carver Hawkeye Arena. The Iowa women 70, Missouri Western 32. They're in the second half, and so that is going as about planned. But, Coach, I was mentioning before you got here, you and I know Jan Jensen well. She'll have plenty to nitpick about tomorrow in the film session. That's what good coaches do. And But even post Caitlin Clark, with Lucy Olson coming in from Villanova, they look to have another outstanding year.
I'd be surprised if they didn't. You know, they've done such a great job historically in the program. And, you lose one really good player, and, here comes another one. So, although nobody's going to replace Caitlin Clark, I'll go on a limb and make that prediction. But, yeah, they do a great job. And so happy for Jan, so happy for Lisa. Saw her she actually tipped me off on Sunday night. I think she announced it on Monday. But tipped me off on what was going to happen. I saw her in Des Moines 2 days later in an event, and I swear she looked 20 years younger, just relieved, and, looked really good. So she's outstanding. Dave's outstanding. Just
for
a great couple.
Great family.
What a run she had. And, the staff's all been together for so long. So
indeed.
Neat for Jan to get that opportunity. I know she'll do a great job. And, it sounds like they've already got a good team going. So happy for them.
Indeed. And Lisa, if you and Dave are tuned in, I hope you're enjoying the time away from the game. But she'll be at a lot of games in the front row seat. You can bet on that. Let's go back to Facebook, Coach, Twitter and Facebook. Rick's and Anamosa, another recruiting question. Do you recruit based specifically on need at certain positions, or more so focusing on the talent and upside of the student athlete, regardless of what position they play in high school or come out of the transfer portal?
Yeah, so, in general terms, we have to, fill quotas, if you will, or decide here's our needs. And so you always have a framework of what you're looking for. But that being said, if there's, name a position, we only want to take one tight end, but there's a second one who's really interested in us that we really like. You're going to go ahead, not turn down a really good football player, and then figure it out a year later. There's always ways to bob and weave a little bit. So, you have a framework, but it's not totally inflexible. And, you always want to make sure you recruit the best guys you can potentially, and guys that you think can really help your program. And it's always interesting. There's no science to it. It's always interesting. And it's very fluid. These things change because you're never quite sure what a guy's going to do once he gets here. Injuries can factor in. There are a lot of variables that take place. So it's an ongoing, it's just something that takes a lot of time and thought.
You and your staff have a great history of recruiting tight ends and linebackers and turning them into a different position player. The rosters are littered with great examples of that. Dallas Clark comes to mind down through the years. Thanks for the question. Let's go to the U.S. Cellular text line, Coach. Jim in Davenport in the Quad Cities. Coach, what's the concussion protocol these days? Has it changed?
Yeah, they have, I don't know if they still call it an impact test, but there's a baseline protocol they've got to pass, which is kind of measure some of the cognitive functions, those types of things. And then, just the obvious symptoms. Not every concussion is the same. That's one, and I'm certainly not a medical expert. I just want to start by saying that. But unfortunately, I've heard a lot of things about, various injuries. And from my vantage point, I think you look back 25 years ago, concussions, once you were okay, you're back in. There was no protocol at all. So you wonder why there were issues as a result. If you treated any injury like that, you just wouldn't do it. But that used to be the way. But now, there's a protocol they go through. If they're experiencing any kind of symptoms, nausea, reaction to brightness, lights, those types of things, it may be as simple as a guy sitting in class and it's just, starts getting headaches, those types of things. So you got to get through all that stuff. Then there's a cognitive component to it. Then they ease into exercise and see if the symptoms come back. And then, step by step, they finally get back on the field, and a period of non-contact, and then they finally go back. And I'll go back. I've shared this story that was 15 years ago or so. I remember a player we had got knocked out on the game field, and he was out for a little while. Came back, and he was out, 8 weeks, 9 weeks, whatever it may be. And just the smallest little tap hit him in practice, and boom, here he goes again. Wasn't knocked out, but he had a concussion.
Felt the symptoms.
Yeah, had symptoms, and so we had to pull him out. That was it for him for the year. And my conclusion was, okay, he'll never play again. And, came back the next year and was a running back. Got tackled a lot, never a problem. So I guess, again, I just know what I see.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
No, like any injury, no two injuries are the same. People react differently to different injuries. And it can go the other way, too, where a guy just keeps having recurring ones. And there's a point where you have to, just pull out for your own well-being.
And you've had to retire a couple really good football players down through the years. I can think of a few on special teams where a lot of them lead with their head and their shoulders, and that's the way the game is played. Those are medical decisions the medical experts make, and it's all for the benefit and welfare of the athlete involved. And to that point too, we try to not teach leading with your head, and there's technique involved, and human nature sometimes being what it is.
Sometimes bad technique can get you really in trouble, and then the other thing that happens too, and this is kind of ties into targeting and some of these discussions about blindside blocks. Sometimes you can't avoid things like if a running back does this and you can't get out of the way. I mean,
different angles.
Yeah, there's certain things because the game happens fast, and it
does.
You can't play everything perfect all the time.
Well, hopefully Kate will be back in the fold sooner than later. Time for a break here on Hawk Talk with Coach Ferentz from Learfield at View Rooftop, downtown Iowa City. Back in a minute.
Hey there, sports fans. Hungry for a legendary experience? Look no further than Bumps Restaurants, proudly named after the legendary Bump Elliott. Nestled right at the Finkbine Golf Course on Melrose Avenue, Bumps is your go-to spot for mouth-watering meals. Present your ticket from today's game at Bumps and get a buy one appetizer, get the second appetizer free deal. Offer good through the next home game. See you soon off Melrose Avenue at the Finkbine Golf Course. Bumps Restaurant, a legendary place with legendary food.
Need a little boost? Nothing beats the rich, smooth taste of Quickstar's Karuba coffee. Fresh, delicious, and always brewed just right. Now only 79 cents. Any size. When you swipe your Quick Rewards card. Pair it with a fresh baked cookie or muffin from the bake sale and level up your day. Quality coffee at an unbeatable price. Stop by, grab a cup, and taste the difference. Only at Quickstar.
Hello, Iowa. Here's a promise. Wherever you are in this great state, University of Iowa Healthcare is here for you, even if you never walk through our doors. Educating, caring, leading research, sharing our expertise with all. Because we believe that UI Healthcare is here to make all of Iowa better. UI Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Visit uihealthcare.org.
Hey Hawkeye fans, Peyton Sanford here with Iowa men's basketball. Your support in the stands is critical to our success on game day, but now you have another way to make a real impact. Join the Swarm today and partner with my teammates and me to service charities throughout Iowa. Together, we're making our state stronger and helping Iowa athletics become the place where we experience the thrill of winning championships. Head to iowaswarm.com for more information. Let's make a difference, Hawkeye Nation.
The silly moments, the proud moments, even the hard moments. They're what make life remarkable. And they're why Wellmark Blue Cross and Blue Shield is here for every moment. Committed to making healthcare better, more affordable, with more choices for care. And service and coverage that give you peace of mind no matter what comes your way. So you can show up for every tender moment, every brave moment, and every wouldn't miss it for the world moment, knowing that Blue is here for you. Go to Wellmark.com/every moment to find a plan right for you.
Hello, seafood fans. This is Bruce Gerleman, and I own Splash Seafood Bar and Grill. Have you been to Splash lately? Come back downtown and let me spoil you. White linens, fresh flowers, candlelight, award-winning wine lists, professional staff, and best of all, my fresh fish are jetted in from Hawaii every morning. Enjoy my homemade lobsters, Alaskan king crab, fresh oysters from the cold, clear, clean waters of the Pacific Northwest. My favorite is the surf and turf featuring my hand-cut prime steaks and lobster. Splash, a truly special evening of adult indulgence.
Back at View Rooftop, downtown Iowa City in the Hilton Garden Inn. I'm Gary Dolphin. Coach Ferentz will rejoin us here in just a minute, but I want to welcome this week's University of Iowa Healthcare Stead Family Children's Hospital Kid Captain. He is 9-year-old Hunter Mickelson of Clive. Hunter, look forward to seeing you this weekend. At 6 months old, Hunter was diagnosed with a rare genetic kidney condition affecting 1 in 2.3 million people. That's right, 1 in 2.3 million. That can lead to severe dehydration if left untreated. While there is no cure, the condition can be managed through large intakes of water, even at night, and proper medication. And Hunter's doing fine. Congratulations to Hunter Mickelson, this week's University of Iowa Healthcare Stead Family Children's Hospital Kid Captain. And I know 70,000 strong, and those in here at View Rooftop, Hunter, we're giving you a standing O right now. 9-year-old Hunter Mickelson of Clive over near Des Moines. Look forward to seeing Hunter this weekend. We're at View Rooftop tonight, as we are each and every week for Coach Ferentz and Hawk Talk. Experience a high-energy rooftop bar with spectacular views of downtown Iowa City. View Rooftop, located on the 12th floor of the Hilton Garden Inn, features a distinctly modern escape with a unique outdoor design. Open all day on Hawkeye football game days like this Saturday with tailgate specials. View Rooftop provides a memorable experience with food, music, and fantastic views of the Iowa City skyline. Here's the number to call for reservations, 319-519-4650. 319-519-4650. Set up your View Rooftop reservation today. We'll take a break. First, a U.S. Bank scoreboard update. The Hawkeye women ahead 70-32. Let's update. 82-30 now. 82-36. The Hawkeye women lead with 1:50 to go in the third period. So the Hawks are on cruise control in women's basketball for their exhibition opener. And the Yankees lead the Dodgers 4-0 in Game 5 of the World Series. That's going on at Yankee Stadium. They're headed to the third inning. New York 4 and the Dodgers 0. That's our U.S. Bank scoreboard update. Back with more. And Coach Ferentz from View Rooftop in downtown Iowa City at the Hilton Garden Inn and Learfield in just a minute.
You might think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. Corn can even fuel your drive to watch the Hawkeyes play when you choose Unleaded 88. It's a fuel that's cheaper, cleaner, and greener. Plus, it's homegrown, making Unleaded 88 the clear choice at the pump and totally worth the hype. So as you head to cheer on the Hawkeyes this season, don't just fuel up. Pump it up with Unleaded 88. Find Unleaded 88 at a station near you. Go to iowacorn.org/88.
At MidAmerican Energy, our 1.6 million customers depend on our energy 24/7. That's why we work 24/7 to deliver the safe, reliable energy you need. To keep our 99.9% reliability record, we're enhancing our technology, improving resiliency, and investing in critical infrastructure. We're generating power from all available resources to cover any increases in demand. And we're innovating to ensure you always have the energy you need. MidAmerican Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
At U.S. Cellular, we believe in having healthy relationships with our phones, so we can have better relationships with each other. Introducing Us Mode, a way to set your phone for less distraction and deeper connection. So dinner can sound less like this and more like this.
What'd you learn today? The sauropod was the tallest dinosaur ever.
Oh my goodness. Visit U.S. Cellular in-store or online, and we'll help set your phone to Us Mode, even if you're not a customer. U.S. Cellular, the 5G network built for us. See uscellular.com for details.
Hello, Iowa. Here's a promise. Wherever you are in this great state, University of Iowa Healthcare is here for you, even if you never walk through our doors. Educating, caring, leading research, sharing our expertise with all. Because we believe that UI Healthcare is here to make all of Iowa better. UI Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Visit uihealthcare.org.
Picture this. An engineer in Illinois designs a John Deere combine that a farmer in Kansas uses to harvest grain that's transported on a stretch of interstate that was built by a road crew with a John Deere motor grader. And that exact grain ends up in the muffin you eat for breakfast. Feeding the world takes a village, and we wouldn't have it any other way. John Deere, we run for all. Learn more at johndeere.com/we run for all.
Saturday night, Blackout Saturday, and a salute to the military, courtesy of John Deere over at Kinnick Stadium. John Deere's commitment to the military dates back to World War I and continues that legacy by supporting active duty service members, veterans, and their families. It's also why the manufacturing leader, John Deere, proudly supports Iowa Hawkeyes Salute to Service game, and that's Saturday, 6:30 for the kick, 4:30 for our pregame coverage, including a pregame interview with Coach Ferentz coming up Saturday afternoon. All right, Kirk, back to let's go to this U.S. Cellular text line. Adams in Burlington, wondering if Kirk has any superstitions with Halloween tomorrow. Are any players superstitious? Any examples? Go Hawks. I'll throw it to you, Coach.
Yeah, so no. The answer is no on superstitions, for Halloween. Okay, is he talking about Halloween or just in general?
No, well, just in general, I think, but with Halloween.
No, I mean, nothing major. And where we live, no kids ever come around. There's no kids in our neighborhood, so don't have to worry about that. But our grandkids will be out there, be out for Auckland. And I still remember as we're sitting here right now, not too far from here, back in the 80s, I remember Dan McCarney and I going out with our respective young kids. And
youngsters.
It had to be 25 degrees. Man, was it cold. The wind was blowing, and those kids did not want to go home. They just wanted to keep going.
Sounds like it's going to be chilly tomorrow night, but maybe not 25 degrees.
It sure wasn't 25 yesterday. It's crazy.
Yeah, you won't be going door to door.
No.
Hey, we know you're a fan, but is Hawkeye pride in your blood? Now's your chance to prove it. Abbott and the Big Ten. The Abbott Company and the Big Ten are hosting the biggest blood drive competition ever. You can donate blood on campus at blood drives near you and any other blood center. You can donate blood anytime through December 6th and upload proof of donation at big10.org/Abbott/submit. That's big10.org/Abbott/submit. And if you're out and about tomorrow night for Halloween or even tonight, stop in at Wendy's. Don't fight hungry, Iowa, with Wendy's new Hawkeye Biggie Bundle. Score a JBC, 4-piece nugs, junior fries, small soft drink, and a small Frosty at the Iowa nice price of $7. Grab Hawkeyes' favorite at a participating Wendy's for a limited time, and go Hawks. One to close the show, Kirk, Brian and Boone. I find halftime interviews with coaches on television broadcasts to be unnecessary and intrusive to the coaches. If enough coaches or conferences and ADs rally together to try and put a stop to this, I assume the TV networks would not agree to it. ?
So, Brian, I'm with you 100%, but that ain't going to happen. I can promise you. In fact, if anything, they're going to try to interview us, more frequently. And I kind of agree. I think anything on the sideline, it's a waste of time.
It's called billion-dollar television contracts.
Exactly.
They get a freebie here and there. Thanks for the question, Brian and Boone. Thanks for listening in to Hawk Talk with Coach Ferentz from View Rooftop in the Hilton Garden Inn. Hawks in Wisconsin Saturday. We'll talk then from Kinnick. Good night, everybody.
On the Hawkeye Sports Network from Learfield, live from View Rooftop at the Hilton Garden Inn in downtown Iowa City. Hawk Talk has been brought to you by Mid-American Energy. Call 811 before you dig. It's the law. Visit MidAmericanEnergy.com for natural gas safety tips. Iowa corn. You might think Iowa just grows corn, but the truth is corn grows Iowa. Brought to you by Iowa's corn farmers of the Iowa Corn Growers Association and the Iowa Corn Promotion Board. By your local Ford dealers. U.S. Cellular, the official wireless partner of the Iowa Hawkeyes. U.S. Cellular, built for us. Also brought to you by University of Iowa Healthcare. Changing medicine, changing lives. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Hawkeye Sports Network.